Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first race of Season 4 Premier Tier here at the Performance Racing League. My name is Cheryl Shaft. I'll be with you for the next hour and 20 minutes or so, maybe a bit longer, as you can see on screen, have a wet qualifying, so maybe about an hour and a half. Yeah, very, very exciting. Season 4, as I mentioned, so new teams. We've had a couple of promotions, a couple of demotions, but this does not take away from the fact that the Premier Tier is the cream of the crop, the best drivers you will see at Performance Racing League. And therefore we are expecting some incredible racing. We'll start to focus more on the qualifying and where these drivers are standing. As we come towards the end of qualifying, we'll let the times just kind of pop up on screen in the meantime. But yeah, in terms of the new updates for these guys, not only have we got a couple of new promotions into this tier, we've got Tamba, who's currently sitting in 6th position in the Alpine. We've also got Ankbank, who is not racing today. Unfortunately, he is absent. He does have a stand-in that I'll mention in a moment. And we've also had 2 demotions as well, so a little bit of a shuffle. The 2 reserves we've got today, Kachao in the Haas, who seems to have, I don't know if DNF'd or disqualified, I'm not sure. And we've also got one more that I will quickly check. Aiden Jones, that's it. Aiden Jones, who is driving in the AlphaTauri? Yes, the AlphaTauri today, also filling in. So it'll be good to see those guys, see what they're up to, see what they can do in Premier Tier, see what sort of pace they can set themselves. Yeah, it will be fun to watch. We've also got, as I think I mentioned it before, the other big change is these drivers have got new teams this season. For the most part, also new teammates. There's been a big reshuffle, as there is every single season here at the Performance Racing League. Some notable connections. We've got Tamba, as I mentioned, has been promoted, partnered, the dream partnership with his Norwegian pal Kalsis, also in the Alpine. It'll be really interesting to see those 2 guys racing, how they're able to use their strategy together. I'm sure they're speaking Norwegian as I speak to you here in English. The other important combination I think it's good to note is we've got Jer, last season's champion, season 3 champion here at the Performance Racing League in Premier Tier. Definitely the one to watch, definitely the early favourite. Partnering up with Tuan will be exciting. Lots of anticipation for this guy. Lots of anticipation for him to be very competitive this season. So definitely the Aston Martins, another team to watch. Let's see how you guys are doing. Shout out Grak in the comments. Good to see you, buddy. Sorry that you cannot race today. Hopefully your fill-in, your reserve will do you proud. Also got Blacks. Nice to see you, Blacks. Yes, Let's Go PRL is back. That's right. This is round number 1. We have 16 rounds this year. No break week either. So from this week onwards, every single Sunday for the next 16 weeks, we will be here on the YouTube channel. We have Premier Tier, which is followed by Tier 1, usually about half an hour to 15 minutes, about 20 minutes to half an hour after Premier Tier finishes, we have Tier 1, and then likewise we have Tier 2 after that. And yeah, will be really good to see as many people as we can. So yeah, throughout the race today, if you are watching, don't forget to send me a message in the chat. We'll try and keep it communal, you know, keep it friendly. Always nice to see people. And an Easter egg to look out for is if we get a comment from Terrible in the chat. Every now and then he pokes his head out from wherever he is and resurfaces. One of the founding members of PRL. Always lovely to see him. Spin and Win in the chat. Nice to see you. Yeah, PRL is back. Super, super exciting. Right. We've got a yellow in Sector 2. I think they've just had a bit of a run-off. All good. So we're now sub 10 minutes to go in qualifying. If we have a look, see how the standings are going. Every driver except, we've got Kachao, who's already out of qualifying. Still not sure why. hopefully we'll be able to find out before the start of the race. Also, Sir Capelot, who hasn't set a time, but other than that, everyone else is on the leaderboard. So we've currently got Fruitful, also definitely a championship contender this season. Had a fantastic season last season. Broke the mould by destroying many a driver in Premier Tier, and broke through that top group of, you know, Jer, Baz, Adri, the famed drivers who tend to always be towards the top. And I believe he finished third last season. I might be wrong about that, but it was definitely towards the top end, which is very impressive. He's currently sitting in pole position on 1:11.1, early marker. Jer, as I mentioned, Season 3's champion with a 1:11.2, currently in second position. As he comes around to finish his last lap, we'll see if he improves at all. He does by 200ths, but not enough to improve. Baz with a 1:11.3 has also ended his qualifying. Not sure, again, I missed that. I'm not sure if it was a DNF or a DSQ, or whether he just retired by himself. But he has set a good time, a 1:11.3. So not the worst time to be retiring. Maybe he's thinking he can't improve. Maybe he's anticipating heavier rain as we go. We've also got Kouses. Oh, Aiden Jones comes through with a 1:11.3. That's a fantastic lap. Aiden Jones, as I mentioned, reserving today. This is his first league race for the Performance Racing League, and that is quite the marker to set down early. Definitely one that we'll be keeping an eye on in the AlphaTauri. We'll just have a double check to see who he is filling in for today, as I'm sure they are delighted by that. He is filling in for Ankbank today, so I'm sure if Ankbank is watching, I'm sure he's not, because I know he's busy, but if he's watching this back for any reason, I'm sure he's delighted to see that from his reserve. Let's have a look. Let's see who else. We've got Adri in the Williams, currently in 5th position. Kaus is in 6th position. Callie Robb in the Mercedes in 7th. So Capelot in 8th. So a lot of the drivers that we were seeing in that sort of area on the leaderboards, not a huge change up in terms of speed. Vihu also in the Ferrari. The two Ferraris pretty close together, which is always nice to see. It's always good when you and your teammate are in sync with your pace. It means that strategically you can play a few more tricks up your sleeve. Tuin in the Aston Martin 11th. Any other jump up? Yeah, Tambar's jumped up to 9th position in the Alpine. Got Matty playing 12th, Steinmeier in 13th. Two Red Bulls also very close together. Oscar in the other Williams. Boaz in the Haas. Haas? Or Haas? Haas. We'll say Haas because it's got an S on the end and not a Z. Weert in the Mercedes in 16th. B&B Levy in the Alfa Romeo in 17th. And then the two McLarens, T. Mike and Doug Trio, currently in 18th and 19th. I'm sure they will definitely be improving their lap time. I anticipate we might get one or two, but I imagine we'll get a couple more in the 1:11s. Vihu retires from the session. I think he feels like that's a pretty good lap by his standards, and it is a pretty good lap to be fair. 11th position in Premier Tier is nothing to be scoffed at. It's a very solid time, 1:11.6. Be interesting to see if we get any in the 1:10s. We are currently on board with Fruitful, who is currently in pole position preliminary. We'll see if he's able to improve at all. I think the big important thing for us to try and keep an eye on is whether the rain gets better or gets worse, whether there's much of a change. Let's keep an eye on. Let's have a look. See, Fruitful comes around the final corner and he doesn't improve. I don't think he was on a hot lap there. We'll jump on board then with Aiden Jones, currently in P3 in the AlphaTauri. See if he's able to improve this lap. And so Capelot gets out of the way. It's getting a bit jumpy. I'm not sure if that's an issue with his AI or not. Very clean, very smooth. Really good to see. There's a yellow flag. Oh, as it looks like Williams is that Oscar spun and might put Aidan Jones off, and he just loses it in the wet. Very easy to do. Very unfortunate as well. That lap looked pretty good. Adri improves a little bit. Not enough to improve his position on the leaderboard, but stays 7th for now. It's a nice helmet from Adri. You can just see the top there. I like that a lot. It goes really well with the car. Which is, incidentally, the Williams car is the best car in the grid. That might be a bit biased, as I'm a Williams driver for Tier 2 myself, but hey, I'm the only one in the commentary booth today, so bias is allowed. Let's have a look. Jesse in the chat, Premier Tier and Rain name a better duo. Very true. We do seem to get a lot of rain in Premier Tier. I don't know if that is Karma's way of testing the best drivers, making them work for their points. Whilst I was rambling there, Fruitful has answered my previous question and moved into the 110s, 129. A fantastic lap. That will take some beating. Cali Rob moves up to 4th with a 111.3. Adri crosses the line. He moves up to 3rd with a 111.2. That is a great lap and just what we want to see with the Williams team. I'm sure Claire is very proud right now, and I'm sure she's watching. I have no doubt. So we've got on board with Jer. Matty Play moves out the way kindly, which is very nice of him. We'll see if Jer is able to improve. He is up almost 0.2 of a second. We'll see if he's able to improve in the 3rd sector as well. Comes around penultimate corner, very close to invalidating, but keeps it clean. So very nice line through the last corner as well. Puts his foot down, crosses the line, and he's up to 2nd position. A 111.0, and as I anticipated, we are seeing this Aston Martin duo in 2nd and 3rd place. And the 3rd place driver, Tuan, the other Aston Martin, is improving. As he comes through the last corner, is he able to improve enough to move up the leaderboard? He does. He jumps ahead of his teammate. Wow, these Aston Martins. I mean, I know every single car is equal, but just stay with me for a second. This Aston Martin car, the team have set them up beautifully, and whatever they've done, it is working fantastically. As Tuan, I'm not sure what he's doing there. Oh, he's retired. Yeah, fair enough. You're going to have to do something crazy to improve on that lap, I'm sure. Let's have a look. Who are we not watched too much of? Cowsis isn't really improving. Oscar has invalidated. Tamba, oh, big lockup from Tamba there. He has gone almost a 10th up in Sector 1. We'll stay on board with him this lap, see if he's able to... Oh, actually, I've just clocked that he's invalidated, so unfortunately, BNB Levy in the Alfa Romeo. It'll also be interesting how many of these drivers have had changed their setup slightly to improve their qualifying time, to sacrifice their race pace. You know, you can't win a race in qualifying, so it'll be important to see how these drivers fare in terms of whether this early pace translates into the race. It'll be interesting to see. As we see BNB Levy coming through the 2nd sector. Comes around the penultimate corner. Should really learn the corner numbers. Oh well, Fruitful improves again. That is something else. Levy comes across the line, moves up to 4th position. What a brilliant lap from the Alfa Romeo. I keep almost saying Tauri. 4th position is a fantastic lap. Fruitful was improved to a 110.8. It's going to take some to get caught at this stage. We'll jump on board with Adri. These drivers now finish in lap. Jer moves up to 2nd position, also into the 110s. Leapfrogs his teammate again. Actually, we'll see who's next across the line. Oscar will be next across the line in the Williams. Currently in 11th position, is going faster. Doesn't jump up enough to improve, unfortunately. Cowsis has invalidated, so his lap is gone. So has Steinmine, who is now pitting. Adri is on a clean up and he is improving. Can he go much higher than 7th position? He crosses the line, jumps up to 5th. Fantastic lap. The Ferrari of Sir Capelot doesn't improve, unfortunately. Tambar in 15th currently moves up to 7th. And the two McLarens, T-Mike, Doug Trio, won't be improving. Calirob has already finished, so I don't think he will be valid to improve. No, so that looks like qualifying is done today. Wow. I mean, quite a statement from this season for Fruitful. He's carried on where he left off last season, and he is showing no mercy. He is definitely going to be right on the tail of Jer. Definitely going to be challenging. Jer has been the Premier Champion for the last 2 seasons. Fruitful wanting to change that record, I'm sure. Tuan living up to his pre-season hype with a fantastic P3. And BNB Levy, he's not someone that I talked about too much in qualifying. I mean, he is definitely a very quick driver, but someone who I don't think showed all of his potential last season, but has definitely shown it today. That is a fantastic qualifying for him. Adri, also an early title contender, I'm sure. P5, great position. Calirob P6, and Tamba promoted from Tier 1 last season and starts his first race of his debut Premier Tier, not only ahead of his teammate, but in 7th position. Finishing off the top 10, we've got Aidan Jones reserving today. First race in Premier in P8. Bass in Bass or Base? I always say Bass. It's probably Base, but we'll call him Bass. Is in P9. Kaus is the other Alpine in P10. Wirt in P11. Oscar P12. Boaz P13. So Capelot in the Ferrari P14. Matty Player P15. Vihu P16. Steinmine P17. T-Mike P18. Doug Trio P19. Kachow P20. That is your grid. And we will rejoin in approximately 30 seconds for the formation lap of the first race of the season. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. as we see the drivers going through their formation lap. I will just set up the graphics for all of us as we'll have a look at the tyres. So, as they drive around, we'll just have a look. A lot of medium setters. I mean, Austria is quite well known for not only being a classic one-stop soft medium, unlikely to see any hard tyres unless we get a very early safety car, but also it's quite well known for being a favourable medium soft over a soft medium. So most of the drivers on the grid on the mediums, 15 in fact, the 5 starting on the softs. We've got both Aston Martins going for a very aggressive strategy, soft first, so they will be attacking Fruitful, who will need to be watching his rear mirrors on the line. We've also got Aiden Jones in the AlphaTauri on the softs, in 8th, Sir Capelot in the Ferrari in 14th on the softs, and Team Mike McLaren in 18th also on the softs. Let's have a look at the chat. Yes, Goldmere, that was a crazy lap from Fruitful. Very deserving of that pole position. We've got Suzuki in the chat. Afternoon, nice to see you. Bronco as well. A Dutch top 4, yes. We do have a lot of talented Dutch drivers here at the Performance Racing League, so no surprise to see a lot of them at the top. Yes, hello to Jesper and Marky. Very excited to see how we get on here. Hopefully we get clean start for the first race. Turn 1 can get very congested. There is thankfully a lot of runoff on the outside, but hopefully not too many drivers will need to use it. And hopefully we won't get too many front wing changes, as that does unfortunately take a lot of drivers out sometimes. But here we go. After all that is said and done, we are ready to go. $20 drivers on the grid, 16 races. It all starts right here in Austria. Premier tier, 5 red lights. And they're out and away we go. The drivers come through, fanning out through across the track. A fantastic start from Jer. He takes P1 before we even get to turn 1. The other Aston Martin sits comfortably in P3. Pretty clean. Not too many drivers are going on the outside coming through turn 1, as it looks like Fruitful tries to fight back on Jer. Comes through from the outside. Jer covers the inside slightly. Fruitful won't have enough grip on those medium tyres to make an attack, and Jer is able to hold on to P1 as he comes through at turn 3. Tuan is closing down already a gap. You can see the difference between the softs and the mediums as Tuan now attacks Fruitful around the outside of turn 4. He comes back through. Clean driving, both giving each other enough space, and Tuan will now fight through. Will he have enough room on the inside? And they're fighting through those soft tyres, just gripping so much more than the mediums. Fruitful really struggling to hold on position, but he will keep fighting around the outside, as the game will not give me a good view. But these two drivers still side by side now over half the track. They've been battling as they come through the penultimate corner, very fast corner. Tuan is pushed around to the outside, but still keeping it on track, and Fruitful will hold on for now. Tuan is already flashing, which means he's using a hell of a lot of ERS, which is crazy. Fruitful attacks through, and that is a virtual safety car. Too busy talking out the front, and it looks like there has been... What's happened here? We've got a couple of penalties. A couple of 5-second penalties for Bowles and Kachau, the Haas drivers. I don't know if that's an incident between both of them. Hopefully not. Tambar's fallen down to 16th. Oscar is pitting for a new front wing. Looks like there's been a bit of contact towards the back. Matty Player, Steinmine and Weir all pitting, I assume, for new front wings. I think Tambar has had an incident as well, which is why he's back there. That does give us a little bit of a respite for now. Just checking through, yes, in the chat, Suzuki. That was, what a battle for the beginning of the race. Very fair battling, keeping it side by side. Hopefully we'll get a round 2 with these guys. Jer, I'm sure, will be lightning speed off the mark. And it will be about whether Fruitful can defend P2. And that is the green flag already gone. And Jer has indeed got off to a fly. He's almost a second off from Fruitful already. We'll stay on board with Tuan, see if he's able to attack back. He has got to keep an eye though on Adri. Because of that virtual safety car, Adri has caught up a little bit of time. So Tuan will not be just able to attack straight away. He has also replenished. Yeah, he didn't lose all his ERS. I don't know why his backlight was flashing, but Tuan is now pushing on the ERS. He's not able to attack into turn 3. And it looks like, oh, I don't know if there was a little bit of a bump there. Tuan looks like he jumped forward, but Aiden Jones has now jumped Adri and moved up into P4. I don't know where this reserve's come from, but he is very fast indeed. It looks like a Tuan attacks through to the inside, just pushes Fruitful a little bit wide, but gets the move done. This does mean, though, that Adri is now able to attack through on the inside as well, with Fruitful having to be pushed wide. He comes around, tries to go around the outside. He's also on the soft, so will have so much more grip than Fruitful. Fruitful is holding onto the inside and should have the inside and keep the position for this corner, but I'm sure we'll need to keep an eye on Aiden Jones behind him, who will definitely be coming back. That battling means, though, that the two Aston Martins have now got a bit of space in front. Looks like we have a yellow flag in sector 2. That is T-Mike has spun, unfortunately. Not good news for him. With no safety car coming through, he's now got a lot of the gap to make up, as have all of the other drivers behind him who had to pit early for that front wing change. So the early improvers, and oh, it looks like another spin. Oh, it's B&B Levy. That is a shame. Fantastic qualifying from him, and all of that work has been undone with that spin, which is not good news. So the big improvers, so Jet and Tuan have improved 1 position, Fruitful jumping down 2 that we've been keeping an eye on. Aiden Jones has moved up 4 positions, and he's now going to try and fight Fruitful again coming to turn 4. This time he goes on the outside. Will have the grip to fight it on those soft tyres, and by staying on the outside of turn 4, he's able to hold on to the inside of turn 5. As he comes through, he does have that grip, and he's able to fight. Doesn't get the move done this time, unfortunately. Fruitful really using up those mediums, having to battle, which I'm sure he won't be too happy about. Adri and Cali Rob still in their opening positions. So Capelot has moved up 6 positions. I didn't spot that earlier, but that is fantastically, as has Vihu. So the 2 Ferraris have had great starts. Kachow, who started in 20th, already up to 11th, but he does have that 5-second penalty, which he needs to be aware of. And Doug Trio up to 12th. So the back half of the grid is all change. The front half of the grid is where the battles are currently. Tuan, he's only gone and overtaken the current reigning champion. Not too bad. Moves up into first position. Steinmine getting a 3-second penalty. The first 3-second penalty of the race. First 3-second penalty of the season, it should be noted. I'm sure these two Astons are loving life right now. I'm sure the strategy team are not too happy about the idea of these two battling. But if they can keep it clean, it's in their hands. Fruitful starting to fall back a little bit. Has got Adri on his tail. Aiden Jones, sorry, I should say. Adri and Cali Rob on the medium tyres. We'll jump back on to the tyre screen. I keep changing the wrong one. There we go. Just to have a look at these guys. So all of the medium tyres that have pitted have all moved on to the softs, which is very understandable. So they will be pitting again for the mediums around about the same sort of time that we will be expecting the starting soft drivers. They will be pitting similar. So none of these drivers will be going to the end, that's for sure. Oscar also getting a 3-second penalty. Matty Player joining him as well. Austria is known for being a heavy penalty track, so we anticipate a lot more of those, as Cali Rob getting a bit bumpy with Base behind. Base losing a little bit of his grip, having a little bit of a rear end issue, and that allows Sir Capelot to jump up into 7th. Those soft tyre choice really coming into handy for the Ferrari, and he's able to make up another position. The mediums behind all starting to filter out. It's when you get to 11th with Kachow's where the gap jumps, but the front 10 all still pretty neck and neck, as Fruitful and Aiden Jones still battling it out. Aiden's still not able to make that position. I'm sure he is desperate to get past Fruitful so he can have a go at the two Astons up ahead. Oh, all that battling, my voice is a bit hoarse. I have to have a bit of water. Now if you're Adri, what's the strategy here? You've seen a lot of battling in front of you. Is it worth sitting back and just letting it happen? It looks like Weert has gone off the track again. He's not going to be happy with that, unfortunately. He drops down to last position. And that is Steinmine around as well. It's not a great opening lap for Steinmine. Who I believe was he the Season 1 champion? Question mark, whilst I double check. Yes, Steinmine was our Season 1 champion. And Jer... Yes, there you go. So his Season 1 was Steinmine, Season 2 and Season 3 were Jer. good to get that out of the way early, so I can remind myself as well more than anything. Let's see, we've got Chaos Drew in the chat. Afternoon, nice to see you. And we've got some cheering on for Tuan, which is always nice. I'm going to have a look, see where he finished. Oh, and that is a safety car. I'm too busy checking the standings and the history of this track. I haven't seen what's happened. It looks like Weir has crashed in the Mercedes, which he will not be happy about, and that has opened up a safety car. So, big moment for these guys. It looks like we've got Team Mike has pitted onto some medium tyres. Matty Player has jumped into the pits, as has Oscar. So all of those drivers in the opening stint who got some damage will be able to recover all of that lost time now. So we're back to a relatively even playing field in that regard. Matty Blair has jumped onto the hards, as I said, with that early safety car. That's the only instance where you might see some hard tyres. Boaz also joining Matty Player. Oscar and Steinmeier jumping onto medium tyres. So the hards, I'm sure, will be with the intent of getting through to the end of the race. And Tuan, here we go. This is why we're staying on board with him. He is pitting. Jer is also pitting. Fruitful staying out on the mediums. Aidan Jones and Cali Rob pitting. So Caplot pitting. Cool. So all of the starting softs will now be jumping onto the mediums. Those mediums should be able to get to the end of the race if they are managed correctly, especially with a 2 to 3 laps on the safety car. So what that does mean is that free pit stop, those soft runners are loving life right now. Assuming they do not have to pit again for damage, and they are able to manage their tyres well enough to get to the end of the race, they are in very good stead. Interestingly, oh, has there been a bit of hold up? Yes, there has. So the two Astons in first and second. A downside to that, if you both pit, you can lose a bit of time. And as a result, Jer has lost a couple of positions as a result. So Capelot is in theoretical P3. Wow. That is quite a recovery. Aidan Jones reserving in a theoretical P2. Not too bad either. We'll stay on board with our leader for now. Right, what was I going to check? I was going to check something. I got so distracted by the safety car. To be fair, I should have been paying attention. So the history of this league has distracted me from the safety car. But now that we're back, let's have a look. I can't remember, so we'll leave it for now. And we'll stay on board with these guys. Ah, that's what I was going to look for, was Tuan. Where did Tuan finish last season? Tuan finished, I believe, well, he's down as 18th, but he only had 15 points, so I only think he did a couple of races. Maybe 1 or 2 races, so definitely an enigma. Let's have a look at the chat. Yes, Suzuki Jer will not be happy about that, losing a couple of positions for free. Chaos Drew cheering on the Alpines, the Norwegian duo. Yes, Bronco double stack. We hate a double stack. Feels like an unfair penalty for such a fantastic start to the race for the Astons. But we'll see how they recover from this, whether they're able to utilise some strategy and make up for it. They've both definitely got the pace. Hopefully they can make it count. So the safety car still coming through. Might be coming in this lap as the pack is now all together. We'll keep an eye on the race alert. I'll also have another bit of water. Recover from my hoarse voice. There we go. Safety car in this lap. One of the problems of being the sole commentator in the booth. There's a lot of talking to do. I believe Tier 1 and Tier 2 will have dual commentators, so they won't have to suffer the way I am. First world problems. Anyway, safety cars coming through. Fruitful now, just grouping the pack up on his medium tyres. Our pole sitter taking his time. Got some space from the grid. Grouping the pack up. When is he going to go? There we go. Foot on the brake. Foot on the brake, foot on the accelerator will be better. Steinman getting a 3-second penalty before the safety car finishes. Not a good standing for him down in 19th position, and he's pitting as well. I'm not sure what happened there. Freefall going a bit wide, which means Adri now is able to attack on the inside. The Williams man also on the mediums gets the move done. Kalirov also trying to cash in as well, and they go 3 wide into turn 3. Adri on the outside has to give in as Freefall takes his position back, but they're still side by side. No DRS, obviously, as the safety car's only just gone in. Kalirov having to watch this from behind, and we will follow his view as we see Adri and Freefall side by side into turn 4. Freefall has the inside this time, but if Adri's able to hold it, he will have the inside of turn 5. And he does. He goes for the move early, but Freefall just has enough track position to keep hold of P1. Freefall doing a lot of defending this race, which I'm sure is not in his initial strategy. But all of that means he does still have P1. Let's have a look further down the grid. Looks like Tuan has had an incident. I'm not sure what's happened there, but he's not going to be happy. So Kaplok getting another 3-second penalty. He's down to 16th, which is not great news for him. And that does mean, that means Aidan Jones is in provisional P1. If we take into account the drivers that have not pitted yet. So Kaplok is in provisional P2. But his Ferrari teammate is right down his rear end. We'll say rear end. That's a bit more family friendly. And goes down the inside. What a brilliant camera view this is, Gabe. Thank you. Making up for that previous one early in the race, which was terrible. Vihu able to make the move. Sir Caplot tucking in behind. Jer, though, trying to attack down the inside. Sir Caplot does do so. Push Sir Caplot a little bit wide. But looks like he's got the move done. Yes, a couple of having to just give in now, and Jared therefore moving into provisional P2. Let's have a look. So much battling that's going to be going on with these that I'm probably going to miss everything. Tambar has also probably had an incident as well. He's at the back of the grid. Steinlein just thinks the Alpine engine. Some people like it. I think it's a bit whiny. It's just me though, probably. DRS is enabled, so all of these drivers, excluding the bottom 3, have got DRS, which means we are officially in a DRS train. If I had some sort of graphic I could flash on screen, I would do so. DRS train alert. Here we go. Fruitful at the front of the train will not get those privileges, which I'm sure he is delighted about. As they come through, Steinmeier getting a quickest lap on those soft tyres. I'm sure Steinmeier and Tambar are just going to see how it plays out. No harm done at this point, being that far behind. As these drivers are just settling now. The Ferraris just getting a bit intimate. I'm sure Sir Capital wants to get this move done as quickly as he can with his teammate on older tyres. I also doubt there's any team orders with the way they're battling. Kachow and Doug Trio, the two drivers who jumped onto the hards initially, sitting in 11th and 12th as Oscar gets another penalty. Let's have a look at those penalties. We've got Adrian Kelly on 3 seconds, B&B Levy on 3 seconds, Sir Caplot on 3, Oscar on 6, Matty Play on 3, and Steinlein already on 9. I'm sure he's not going to be too happy about that. As the two Ferraris are battling still, as it looks like Sir Caplot has got the move done. He has indeed, and he will sit in 9th position. I think if Vihu is smart about this, he won't battle too hard, as not only has Sir Caplot got more grip with the newer tyres, but it's his teammate. Ferrari were the Season 2 champions, so I'm sure they want to regain their crown from the McLarens, is what I was going to say, and I got it right the second time. Yay me. Jer just behind B&B Levy, also on newer tyres, will have more grip, and will look to attack as he comes through the Fulton corner. No ERS, which says to me he's comfortable there in the DRS train. He knows he's got the pit stop done, and he knows he needs to preserve those tyres. But B&B Levy gets a poor exit, goes a little bit wide, and Jer gets the move done incredibly early, before the DRS zone, incredibly. Oh, really, really dangerous corner, that one. turn 3. Can easily bump into the back of people. So Capelot gets a much better exit, uses his ERS and is able to get past B&B Levy. Stop looking at the rear camera game. Nope, thank you. There we go. And Sir Capelot moves up to 8th position, provisional P3. I'm going to keep saying provisional P3 because we never know when another incident might happen, another safety car might happen, and some more free pit stops might happen. You get a pit stop, you get a pit stop, everyone gets a pit stop. Let's jump back on board with the leader, Adrian the Williams. Love seeing a Williams out in front. Sitting comfortably. I'm sure Fruitful will want to get this move done as quick as we can, and using that ERS, not able to get it done this time round, but both drivers on a similar level of ERS. There we go, Fruitful deploying again, which suggests to me he wants to attack into turn 3 and get the move done. Adri covers the outside, looks like a bit of contact, and Adri shoots back onto the inside. Cali Rob tries to go on the outside, they go 3 wide. All of that results in Adri holding on to P1, Fruitful having to stop the attack to defend, but now as they come through into turn 4, he's able to attack again, go 3 wide once again as Fruitful goes down the inside of Adri. Adri tries to hold on to the outside, Cali Rob therefore shoots on the inside of both of them, and they go 3 wide again as he comes through into turn 5. Adri has got the inside into turn 5, a little bit of contact, and Fruitful goes a bit wide as a result. As Adri holds on to P1, that was very unfortunate, but just what happens when you go 3 wide, and Baz goes a little bit wide there as well. He cashed in. I didn't even notice that. Where did Baz come from? I don't know what happened there, but all of that results in, yes, Adri in P1, Calliope in P2. A little bit of car flying off there. Jer shoots up into P3. Baz in P4. Capelot, oh my god, there's so many positional changes. I cannot keep track of it, people. Give me a chance. And that means Baz and Mvihu and Kausis are fighting. This is one of the most competitive. Fruitful is warming up his tyres mid-race. There's a little bit of weaving going on. I've never seen that before. So Capelot shoots down the inside of base with his newer tyres. Easily done too, and is recovering pretty well. Back up into provisional P3. I say recovering, I mean there's a couple of incidents that helped him. But Jer now has effectively got a pit stop over most of the grid. So Capelot in P2, former Williams driver, now Ferrari. I'm not bitter. And Kausis has had a bit of an incident, I believe. Yes, has he got damage? That Alpine engine sounds horrible. Don't think so. We'll see if he is pitting. Yeah, he is pitting. I think he did get damage. That understeer. That is unfortunate. And Cali Rob has overtaken Adri. God, if you guys could stop changing the lead while I'm checking with the back end of the grid, that would be very much appreciated. Adri shoots down the inside this time, and Jer, opportunistic, also cashes in. Cali Rob just went a little bit wide. It wasn't that much of a mistake, to be honest, but that's all it takes for you to lose that position. So Capelot breathing down the neck of the Mercedes. As the front pack, I mean, Jer is in such a good position here. The medium runners will want to put in another 6 or 7 laps minimum, you're thinking? So that does mean... B&B Levy, what's happened? See if we can catch an eye. Where is he? I can't see his car. He's on the left-hand side as we come through it. There he is. I think he's just lost the end. And there we go, virtual safety car. The medium runners trying to cash in. Cali Rob and Base. They will really need to look after those softs to get them through to the end, but it is doable. Which is huge, as it's not a full free pit stop. It's kind of like a half-price pit stop, you could call it. And that is huge. That is 2 of the front runners. I mean, Fruitful is also jumping onto those softs. He did lose a bit of time, so he wasn't right at the front, but he's definitely one to keep an eye on. Adri and Vihu not cashing in. They are wanting to attack more with their softs towards the end. Wow. I mean, we can't ask for much more in the season opener, as, I mean, this race is anyone's. you're a crazy man to be betting on the end of this race. As we get green flag again, Adji with the lead, Jer in P2, already pit stop, out of the way, and will be running those mediums to the end, I'm sure. So Capelot on 2 and behind, also in a similar boat. 2 and, interestingly, is out of the DRS of Sir Capelot, which is important to note. Vihu still yet to pit, and Kachau has left the session. Connection issues. He has spun. That wasn't a retirement. Okay, so that was just connection issues for him. Jer now shoots down the inside of turn 3. A very favoured overtaking opportunity for these drivers, and they're trying to cash in on it. Doesn't get the move done, although he did have a look. But he will attack now using the ERS. Plenty of ERS to go. And will get the move done early into turn 4. Actually, not much he can do, and just lets it happen. It looks like Matty player has DNF'd coming out of turn 1. Not good news here. We'll keep an eye on the front people, though, because they keep bloody doing things when I'm not watching. So Capelot now down the back. Will want to get this move done as quickly as he can. May not be aware of this. Oh, goes a little bit wide, though. And Tuan is able to cash in. Oh, what a recovery. I mean, these Astons are just too quick. They are, I mean, if you, there you go, there's your bet. If you're a betting man, bet on the Aston Martins to win this season, because they are, it's going to take something to break them, that's for sure. As we see now, Sir Capelot is filtered back behind. There's 2 seconds. Oh, and that's Dev Trio. Where did he come from? And those hard tyres moves back up to 5th. It's the one to watch, though, is Tuan, whether he can get the move done. He has got some ERS to play with. So does Adri. Adri's now deploying it to try and defend, but Tuan is attacking more and more. He's got the closing speed. Will it be enough coming into turn 4? And he goes through down the inside. Oh, it's a bit of a dive bomb. Not all the way, though, and that means that we are able to avoid some collision. Actually, we'll have the inside moving into turn 5. Tuan does have a bit more grip there. We see that increased grip from the newer tyres. And he goes trying to go around the outside of turn 6. What a move by Tuan. He moves out to provisional P2, but they're still side by side coming into turn 7, I guess this is. Turn 7, and Tuan is able to get the move done. Will actually try and fight back from the inside. No, he's not able to do it, but that means that Sir Capelot is now fighting down the inside. Come on, gang, give me a good angle. There we go. Sir Capelot not going to attack this time. It settles down. Actually now therefore in P3, and the 2 Astons back up in P1 and 2. Tuan getting a 3-second penalty. Important to note that will potentially come into importance towards the end of the race. Here we see, let's have a look at these drivers. So we've got the 2 hard hitters. So the one still to pit, Adri and Vihu, still to pit. Which means that effectively we've got a provisional podium of Jer, Tuan, Sir Capelot, Doug Trio in P4 provisionally, Vihu is pitting, Boaz P5, and Calliro P6. Oh, what happened there? There we go. And we're just filtering out a little bit now. Vihu looks to be the closest on track. Oh, there's a yellow flag. Callirob's round. Oh, that's not good for Callirob. He was towards the front of the pack. But that spin, as we see Fruitful overtaking him, that's going to throw that out, unfortunately. As you see Adri pitting now. Very interesting timing from Adri. Let's see where he filters back. Fruitful jumping in with the new fastest lap on those new softs. And Adri filters back into P9. Just in front of Fruitful. He does have quicker tyres though. So this is his chance to attack. As Kausis gets a 3-second penalty. Here we go, as you see these drivers coming through turn 3. Just keeping an eye on the pedals, that's all I'm watching. You know, a couple of tips. One of the perks of commentating is I can control the graphics, as we see there. Getting on the throttle early. Very nice. Right, back to the action. Looks like Vihu is also now pitting off of those mediums that have had a good life, those 23 laps. And that does mean now that every single driver on the grid has pitted. And every single driver, also importantly, is on a set of tyres that can theoretically get them to the end of the race. So no more provisional. This is your standing as you see it. As we see, Adri now overtakes T-Mike. Very easy move done on those brand new softs and T-Mike's very old mediums, as there's a yellow flag in Sector 1. Who is that? Steinmein. Not a race he's going to want to remember, that's for sure. Jess still in P1, 2 and P2, so Capital P3. Doug Trio, P4. I mean, these hard tyres, they are making it work. I mean, it really has come down to the cleanest drivers, the one who's not made a mistake, has really cashed in. I mean, Tuan is an enigma, as he did have a mistake, but he's just had so much pure pace that it's just been too good. Oscar jumping into the pits. Interesting. Those mediums would have got to the end, but it looks like he's going to want to pit for some quicker softs, as we see Fruitful looking up the back team. Mike, will he get a better exit? He does get a better exit and should get that move done pretty cleanly. And does, moving into P7. Oscar indeed moves on to those fresh soft tyres. And we'll just stay on board. Who else we've got? Kausis behind Oscar. Calero behind Vihu. But they are on older tyres compared to the people they are behind, so likely to see a move done unless there is a bit of a mistake. It's a bit of a filter up now, so 11 laps to go. Anything can happen. Who should we jump on board? But Cal, let's have a look at Kausis in the Alpine. I'll grit through the Alpine engine noise. On the back of Oscar, but Oscar does have newer tyres, so actually I tell you what, now that we've all pitted, we will focus on these penalties, as these will definitely be coming in handy. And I'm sure the drivers with penalties will be praying for no safety car. Oh, and that is T-Mike. And that's coming out of coming out of turn 1. I jinxed it. There is a safety car. There he is on the right hand side. It's so commonly done. Now we'll jump on board with the drivers as they come through. Tambar will jump on board with the tyres. He's pitting again for new tyres. He's only just pitted for new tyres. Very interesting choice. Kuchao has been lapped, so we'll jump on board with Jer. He will most likely be pitting onto fresh softs as well. Wow, so I believe pretty much everyone is going to be... Give us the Ferrari, there we go. Doug Trio is staying out. Wow. Boaz is pitting. I think this is, you've got to pit, surely. Adri can stay out. No, he's pitting as well. I think there is a wariness of 13 laps on the softs. Not very, excuse the pun that's about to come out of my mouth, not very fruitful. As we see him also pitting for the softs. Kalirob, Vihu is staying out. I mean, he did pit very recently, so he is... Wow. Wow. So, after all of that, the drivers that pitted most recently for softs, the drivers that really extended that medium run, the driver has jumped up to P4. Provisional P3, I guess. Well, no, I guess P4, because Doug Trio can get to the end of those hards, but he is going to struggle. I think that was a mistake from Doug Trio, I have to admit. Let's see, yeah, everyone. It's going to be a shootout. Kachao, still not reconnected. Or maybe he has. I don't think he has. And that does mean we're going to have a couple more laps under the safety car as the grid is all over the place. Well, not really. Half a lap to go. Let's have a see. Just having a look how these drivers are doing. Yep, Jesper, that was the commentator's curse. Apologies. As soon as the words uttered came out of my mouth, there we go. Yeah, Suzuki saying that Doug Trio of a ballsy move. I think ballsy is a bit of an understatement. That is suicidal, if you ask me. There is no way 18-lap-old hards will be able to survive against brand new soft tyres that will easily get to the end, pushing all the way. Yes, Tuan has recovered to P3. Very, very impressive drive. Steinbein getting 3 seconds. That's a safety car, not what you want to see. I mean, every driver's on the softs now, except for Doug Trio, so we can clear those tyres off our screen. We can have a look at these penalties. Jer still without them. Boaz without a penalty. Aiden Jones without a penalty. Also, the point I was about to make just before I cursed the safety car out is that if we did get a safety car, which we have got, then these penalties are going to be hugely important, as the pack is all, well, it's all packed up, I guess, together, and now the interval between them is so minimal that 6 seconds is huge time to try and make up. Blacks, yes, this is going to be good. I'm going to do a lot of talking, I'm sure, for the rest of this race, and I'm all out of the water, so no more nutritional pit stops for me. Safety car still not in, so we're going to have one more lap just as Kachow joins the grid. Perfect timing. He is still on those hards, so everyone on theoretically new softs. I know we've got Vihu, Oscar and Tamba on slightly older softs, but pretty much they're all on brand new softs except for Doug Trio and Kachow, so we're in a hard tyre sandwich. And these drivers, you just want to hope there is no contact. We don't want to see any more penalties unnecessarily. Kachow's still not back, so no risk of the AI interfering, I don't think. Ooh, Jer. Just getting a little bit of movement on the inside. I really like the multiple colours on the back rear of the 2021 McLaren car. Also, an opinion to voice, I guess, whilst we're in this little break going on here. Might be controversial. I might be about to get roasted in the chat, but I'm willing to risk it. The 2022 McLaren car livery, best one so far. Feel free to attack me now if you think that is a horrendous opinion, but I'm willing to die on that hill. I think it's by far the most creative. It's the most different. I think the Aston Martin's in a close second, utilising that yellow a little bit more. No more having BWT and that pink involved. But yeah, just gotta love that McLaren livery. Whoever's designing liveries for McLaren, I mean, they smashed it in Monaco. I think they do a pretty good job. Let's have a look. Is safety car in this lap? It is in this lap. I didn't see the notification, but Doug Trio is grouping them up. We'll keep an eye on Jer, though, as I imagine a move is going to get done relatively early. Doug Trio taking his time, and he shoots off a little bit earlier, which I'm surprised by. He gets a little bit of a move, though, on Jer, so he's able to hold on to P1 going into turn 1. But coming out of turn 1, the grip is going to be so much more, and there we see Jer just has so much more pace. I'm already getting roasted in the chat as Jer moves up into P1. Oh my god, I thought I was going to get roasted for the McLaren opinion, but Broncos doubled down on my opinion on the Alpine engine. This is brutal. I'm getting attacked from all angles here. As Tuan also cashes in and moves into P2. Doug Trio, as expected, is not able to hold on too long, but Tuan is able to cash in and move into P1, overtaking his team on the inside. I think Jer just got caught napping a little bit there. These two are going to keep on battling. Doug Trio just really struggling now. Vihu looking to move up to P3. I mean, no one, if you put money on that, then fair play to you. I don't think anyone saw that coming. Two Ferraris having a great race. It's all chaos at the moment as these drivers on brand new softs. This is essentially a sprint race. It's even shorter than a sprint race, and they're all on fresh softs. Who knows what's going to happen? Doug Trio, though, is just sitting, wanting to be taken almost. The drivers behind Vihu just waiting. They're like jackals with a carcass in front of them. Here we go, Vihu using his ERS. Doug Trio is depleting it as well. The grip on the softs though, just too much, as Vihu, last of the late breakers, will get the move done on the inside. Should comfortably hold on to it, he does. So Capelot, much better exit with those softs. Moves down the inside, very aggressive move there. But should get the move done as well as we move into turn 4. There we go, and the two Ferraris. Doug should try and fight back, but just not going to get it done. Jumps back through Tuan and Jer. Vihu couldn't get the move done early enough, and there we go. He's a second and a half behind. Let's have a look. VRT Blacks, yes, please. Loving that. Supporting me with my opinions. McLaren has got the best livery. Jesper, you have no idea what you're talking about, mate. Right, let's jump back on board. So we've got Tuan in P1, Jer in P2. A bit of a gap to Vihu, so we'll not have DRS, which has now been enabled in P3. So Capelot, the other Ferrari in P4. Looks like, oh, what's happened here? Doug Trio. It's just let everyone through. Wow. Okay. That is something I also didn't anticipate. It looks like Jer moves down the inside of Tuan. Okay, right, that's it. The rest of the drivers, I'm so sorry if you're watching this back. I'm watching these two, as this is going to be crazy into the race. Jer moves down the inside of turn 3, which means that he gets the move done. Tuan will have DRS, bearing in mind. So will he try and get the move done back, or will he try and sit back and wait for the last lap of the race? That is a well-known strategy that a lot of people tend to do. Just wait for your time on the last lap, so therefore there's nothing that the other competitor can do. See, I tell you what, on the top right, I get that notification that someone's posted in the chat, but I don't see it straight away. So I get the notification, and then I look at the chat in anticipation, and I know that someone's going to roast me. And sure enough, it's Chaos Druid suggesting that I'm going to say that Williams is the best livery. I mean, in this game, it is the best livery. We've yet to see it in 2022, so who knows? It's going to do a lot to outdo McLaren, as I think the introduction of the blue into the orange, I just think looks brilliant. Anyway, Tuan moves down to the inside and he attacks back into P1. These Astons just don't know when to give in. All of this fighting does mean that Sir Capelot has caught up. Adri has moved into P4. Loving that, the Williams, in overtaking Vihu, the other Ferrari. But that gap, Sir Capelot is now back up in the mix. Last season's Williams driver, now in the Ferrari. So just so much Williams talent, you know. What can I say? Jesper saying worse. Haas is the worst so far. I mean, yeah, there you go. There's not a controversial opinion, and one I happily can say without fear of roasting or reprimand in the chat. Haas cannot make a good livery to save their life. So there we go. Tambo joining, well, increasing his penalties, moving up to 12 seconds. Tuan in P1. It's also worth noting Jerry's clean of penalties, so Tuan has got a 3-second penalty over his head, which will be cashed in at the end of the race. So if he's able to win this race, it'll either be from Jer getting into the penalties and joining the club, or Tuan making a 3-second advantage, which I don't think will be happening. So, I mean, if you're Jer, I think your focus should really be defending that Ferrari right behind you, as we see behind the back rear tyre of the Aston. I'm sure Sir Capelot. I mean, it's also so Boaz is effectively, let's have a count. So it's 1 second, 2 seconds. It's about 3 seconds behind. Boaz could be on for a podium here in the Haas. It's all over the place. Tuan might be, I mean, he might be P2. So Capelot might not be in the podiums. I mean, it could be anyone's. Boaz could be P2, depending on what happens up here as we come through to start the penultimate lap of the race. Not been a huge amount of battles. I mean, these drivers are all within a second of each other, so we'll stay on board with Jer, who is he's attacking back again. He wants that B1 on track, and he gets the move done before turn 3. I mean, Tuan, will he attack? No, he gets a poor exit out of P3. So only attack now. But that does mean that he will be in P2 at the start of the last lap, which means that if he is able to get the move done, Jer will not be able to fight back. Let's have a look. Looks like Fruitful's overtaken Adri, so Adri now falls back into P5. Jesper coming out with another awful opinion that the Haas Rich Energy livery was sick. Jesper, you really need to get your eyes sorted as you have a terrible taste. Maybe you've had COVID. Who knows? That might be the reason why you've got no taste. As we see Jer now coming through. Right, we'll stay on board with Tuan and see if he's going to attack back. He most definitely will. Who's going to have the better exit? Oh, Tuan goes a little bit wide, but uses that outer edge of the track to not get too much of a disadvantage and gets the move done, and Tuan's back up into P1. There's the notification top right, and there's the roasting in the chat of Bronco telling me I need to sort my own eyes out. What am I doing? Anyway, I was never going to win that. I don't know why I'm stoking so much fire. There's going to be calls to my head at the end of this race. Thankfully, you won't have me commentating Tier 1. So we've got Tuan coming through. We'll call these drivers as they come through, because this grid is going to change all up. So pay close attention to the left side of the screen, and we'll cause it as we seize it. As these drivers come through, Calliope getting a 3-second on the last lap. He's not going to be enjoying that. So Tuan will come through. On track, P1, what a drive. Jer will definitely be jumping up. Jer is your round 1 winner. Tuan into P2. So Capital P3, free for P4. Vihu up to P4. Boaz moves up. Boaz, the king of the podiums. He's done it multiple times last season, but Boaz with the penalty podium. So that means we've got Jer, your P1. Tuan P2. It's almost my catchphrase at this point. Boaz in with the P3 in the Haas. It didn't look like it was going to happen for many parts of the race, but as the penalty started to filter through, his clean driving made it count. Vihu, I believe, finishing P4. Definitely a worthy shout out there by the game. And there we see Fruitful with some funky dancing. That is Jer. Apologies, that is Jer with the funky dancing. And that is him at the top step of the stadium. Well done to the Aston Martins. I mean, no mistaking, they deserved the P1, P2. And they get maximum points today. So there we go. Jer with the fastest lap in P1. Tuan with P2. Boaz P3. Vihu P4. So Capelot P5. The Ferrari's getting a huge haul of points as well, which is good stead for them. Starting 16th and 14th respectively. So fantastic race. Fruitful, our pole sitter. You will get 1 point. So Aston Martin do not get full points today, but Fruitful in P6, Adri P7, Baz Base P8, Calliope P9, Oscar P10, Steinmine P11, Aidan Jones P12, Kausis P13, Tambar P14, Doug Trier P15, Kachow P16, and then the DNFs of Team Mike, Matty Player, B&B Levy, and Weird. We'll just capture the incidents for the stewards. I'm sure they will have some work this week. But other than that, that is all from me. Thank you very much for watching. We will be having our Tier 1 race in approximately 30 minutes from now, so make sure to check that out. But other than that, we will see you next week. Thank you. I've been Cheryl Shaft, and good night.